Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another segment of Soldier of the Hour. If that's like the most stressful thing for me in these interviews, is to make sure I pronounce the name correctly, and I still mess it up every time. So thank you for having a very easy name. But Master Sergeant, you are in a tremendous, huge spot. You're actually the chief paralegal, the NCYC non-commissioned in charge of at Fort Irwin, the National Training Center. So that's a huge installation, and you're the head NCO that deals with all of the little minions, all the soldiers in their shops, with all the home bases, the homes units that work out of Fort Irwin, California. That's incredible.
Yes.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, our first sergeant for recruiting, First Sergeant Ernest, she knew I was looking for a paralegal because we're going to interview a lawyer here shortly, and I was like, I gotta get a really good paralegal, and she's like, I know the lady to call. And she's the one who's like, hands down, this is our lady. She's gonna be great. So looking over your bio that you sent me, is I have to say that Texas loves you. You're born and raised from Detroit, Michigan, but Texas just loves you.
I love it back. I really do.
Well, I mean, California desert, Texas desert, kind of same weather type of thing. So.
Yeah.
But I just want to let our viewers know that we are broadcasting on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Might be missing one. If I am, leave it down in the comments. Let everybody else know. If you have a question for what a paralegal does, or what does Master Sergeant do for her job or home life, or whatever the case may be, and you're interested, drop your comments below. We'll get them answered during our segment. We have her for the next hour. For those who are watching us live, and this is the first time for you to witness a Soldier of the Hour, I want to let you know what the concept is. So the concept behind Soldier Hour is to highlight all 150 jobs. So this is one of the jobs you could have in the military, the Army. But this interview is with a twist. We could have two Master Sergeants, the 27 Delta,
yes.
And I'm learning. I'm a new recruiter, so I'm trying to remember all these MOSs. I just know mine. You can have the same person, same Master Sergeant, same MOS, paralegal, same duty station, and you can have a totally different experience, not only with your job, but the environment and how you perform. So I want us, the people who are actually living the job day in, day out, to let us know what, it is. You can only get the cool stuff through the commercials, but this is the reality. This is, good, bad, and indifferent. You tell me how great the job is, how stressful the job is, how the job changes you as a person, how you could change the Army within your profession. So I think this is a great tool for people who are looking into not only the military, but this job specifically. So I really want to highlight the paralegal, and you're the lucky person who decided that you would love to come on our show and talk about yourself and your job. So I want to say thank you again for sparing an hour of your time. You're a mother of 3 busy little boys.
Yes.
And then you're also the main person for your installation. Fort Irwin, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very large installation. So to break you away for an hour to talk about yourself and your job, I know you're probably slammed the door and said, do not disturb. So, I want to try to pick your brain as much as possible. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put some stuff up here for you guys to look at and read while we're talking. But Master Sergeant, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? So if people don't want to really hang out for an hour, they at least know who you are and what you've done.
Yes, I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. 1998, I decided, you know what, it's time for a change. I need to do a little bit more for my family. So I joined the Army. At the time, we were legal specialists and not paralegal specialists. So that was actually a huge change when that came about for us. I've been in the Army 22 years. I've been stationed multiple places, primarily El Paso, Texas, but I've also been stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, in Seoul, South Korea. I was in Appleton Recruiting Center. That's how I know your First Sergeant Ernst. We were there together.
Shout out, First Sergeant.
Yes. Been to Darmstadt, Germany, and now I'm here at Fort Irwin. I am, like you said earlier, I have 3 very busy young men, my 3 sons. I am currently still, back in college to try to finish up my bachelor's degree. Been in the Army 22 years and just actually really having a lot of fun.
Incredible. 22 years and you're not tired of it and you're still going to school. Incredible. That's crazy. Now, you've been to Germany. You have been deployed not only in a combat tour, but also in a, overseas tour. There's a debate between if Kuwait is a combat tour or deployment or not. So I'll let everybody else, all my active duty out there, you guys, drop your comments down there. Let me know if that counts. But I want to start back beginning, Master Sergeant. Who approached you? Did you approach the recruiting station, or did a recruiter come out and say, hey, check out this opportunity?
I went to the recruiting station. There was a recruiting table in the food court of the college that I was attending. But at the time, I was working in the Taco Bell in the food court. And so I saw them, I grabbed one of the cards, and I think probably a week or 2 later, I walked into the recruiting station.
Okay, that's so cool. So were you intimidated at all with uniform? Because that's the biggest issue that I've heard young men and women say, that just the uniform intimidates them. So they don't want to come up and talk to us to get the information. So were you confident coming in saying, hey, what are my options? Or were you there kind of like, hear what they have to say?
I was pretty confident. It wasn't really intimidated. I was a little bit older. I was 22 years old already, so that may have something to do with it. But there was really no intimidation. I kind of did some research, and I actually had to be put in my place a little bit. I walked in and told them what I wanted, and they were like, well, okay, that's not quite how this works. How about you sit down and talk to me?
Well, what did you want?
I wanted to be a paralegal. I was studying criminal justice in college. So when I did the research at the time, I said, wow, this is pretty much in line of what I'm studying for in college anyway. So this is what I want.
Hey, well, I mean, that's a great thing about the Army is that, we guarantee your job before you sign the contract. So if you go in there and be like, hey, I want this, and you qualify and the job's available, there's nothing else to stop you from getting that job. That's great.
That's right.
So did you have any bumps on the road, doing all the paperwork through the recruiting, through the MEPS process, and then enlisting? Did you have any like bumps in the road? Was there any, or was it pretty smooth? Was your recruiter honest with you?
My recruiter was honest with me. I think the only bump in the road, so to speak, was the fact that I was still working so many jobs. I had 4 jobs. And so,
What?
finding, finding all my information for my supervisors and phone numbers and corporate phone numbers, that was probably the biggest bump in the road for me.
Oh man, those
That and
references,
having
man, they
time
kill
off
me.
to go see your recruiter.
So you picked your job, right? You did everything that you needed to do with the recruiter. And
Yeah.
then were you worried about basic training? Also you did your research for the job that you wanted and you got the job that you signed up for. But were you nervous about the basic training or the AIT? When I say AIT, it's your advanced individual training, job training.
I was actually a little nervous about basic training. There was still a lot of unknowns, things that I didn't know what to expect. The physical aspect of it, I jogged, I did aerobics, but I didn't know like the more physical aspects of basic training. Those are things that really kind of made me nervous.
Okay. So fast forwarding basic training, you go in there now, was it all in your head? Were you too much like, can I do this? Am I physically fit enough? Or was it once you got there, was, everybody walked you through, they taught you what you needed to learn. And then it was, as long as you were where you're supposed to be in the proper uniform, it was, pretty easy, right?
Yes, absolutely. Just, remember that I just had to remember that even though, I was a little older, I wasn't a soldier yet and I had no idea what was going on. So I learned very quickly, just listen to the drill sergeants, do what they tell you to do, and you will definitely be successful if you do that.
Okay. So basic training, BCT was pretty easy, went by pretty quickly, and then you got to go to the good stuff, your job training. Now, was your
Yes.
basic training location different than your job training, your AIT?
Actually, it was not. Back then in 1999 is when I actually left for basic training and advanced training. So at the time, the legal specialist, we were still at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So it was just a bus ride across post from basic training to advanced training.
Okay. Now, in 1999 or 1998, when you enlisted, do you know how old I was?
Do I want to know, Sergeant Anderson?
I was in junior high. I just love doing that because I'm older too. So when I put people in, I'm like, Jesus, I mean, you know how young you are? You're making me old. So I love doing it to the people that are senior to me. It's just it's a crack up. I love doing it. So was your family supportive of you? Or were they like, you're crazy? Or were they like, hey, yes, follow your dreams. We support you. How was your family in Michigan holding up?
A little mix of both. They thought I was totally insane. Why would I want to leave? Why would I want to go, be in the Army and leave Michigan? But they also said, you know what? Hey, if this is what you feel that you need to do, go do it and be great at it.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully that gave you the encouragement and the support to do what needs to be done, because again, you're leaving your home. Some people leave their home for the first time. I have never left their cities or state. So it's the scariness of the unknown. It's not that you can't do it. It's that I don't know what to expect of. And for some people, they don't know how to handle that. But the great thing is that if you have supportive family, it makes it easier and it makes you a little bit more confident because they believe in you. Plus, you don't have to work 4 jobs, one job. That's all you have to do.
Yes.
So AIT, so Advanced Individual Training, which is our job training for our viewers. That's great that you didn't have to pack up your stuff and go fly to another unit and, kind of get comfortable with the new surroundings, new people. It's same people, same location. So that's great. How was there, let me get my words correctly. From your research, from what you thought a paralegal did, or what do you call it, a legal specialist, is that the same information that you did your research? Were they training you all the aspects of what it takes to be a legal specialist, or?
There was actually more that they trained us on. I realized you probably can't fit everything that we actually learn and get trained on into, the brochures or the little clips that we have. But for pretty much, yes, everything that I was told we would be trained on and we would be doing, we did that and then some.
Okay, so I don't know too much about paralegal. Okay, honestly, I know you guys do a lot of research. I know you guys prep a lot of the case files. I know you help the lawyers or the judges with things. I know that you deal with the commander and vice and things of that nature. So my understanding of paralegal is very limited. So if we compare a Army paralegal, or back then a legal specialist, to a civilian paralegal, are you guys doing the same type of job, or are you guys doing a little bit more?
We do a little bit more. Essentially it is the same type of job, the admin support and the research support, the filing motions, if you will. There's an aspect of that to what we do, but the more part is that our direct interaction with the unit command teams, our direct involvement in actually processing the paperwork and the actions. Like I said, it is, but there's a lot more to it that we get to do being military paralegals as opposed to just being in a civilian setting.
All right. So can you tell us a little bit more of your AIT experience and some of the, now I know things have changed from back then to today.
Yes.
So this is off your experience. But can you tell us some of the areas that you had to study for, some of the exams that you had to take? That way, if somebody was looking into this job, they kind of know either the routes that they need to sharpen up or what to expect.
Yes. So it was heavily based on military law. So military law is a little different than all civilian laws. There's, for example, there are things that are, criminal, so to speak, in the military that are not an offense on the civilian side, such as not going to work or being disrespectful to your commander. In the civilian section, that's not a crime. In the military, which is a huge difference, we had to learn those things, is that, okay, if you can't just decide not to go to work, you can't just be disrespectful to your boss. There are consequences for that. And if you do it too many times, you can, be processed out of the military, and there are multiple ways to do that. So those are the unique things to being a military paralegal that we learned in our advanced training.
Yep. You got to be a professional, you got to be orderly, you got to be, all of the above. You can't be one of those I don't want to say outspoken people, but you can't rub too hard against the grain of the wood,
Yes.
And then we have, for you to understand, you get all the basic training to train you from a civilian to a soldier. And then from there, your leadership, which is your NCO, the backbone of the Army, is what sharpens up that point of that spear to make sure that you're well-oiled. And then we go into the history and the reason why we do this, or the reason why we do parades or salute. So there's reason and meaning behind a lot of it. So, and then you'll learn that by being not involved, but immersed into the soldier's life. So
absolutely.
So you guys don't stress over it. You guys, it will come to you. Okay. You don't need to know all this before you enter. The drill sergeants and your NCOs will teach you. And then I just want to let our viewers know this is live. Give me some questions to ask. Math Sergeant, I know you guys have questions. There's a big big segment that we're doing next week, and this is a prelude to it. So this is, for us, this is, a great opportunity to talk to Mass Sergeant here and see what the other side does, because without them, you might have your day in court the next 10 years versus, next week. So AIT, yeah, would you say it was pretty easy, or was it because of your love for law, or was it pretty a shock because you're not only learning military law, but also you have to figure out what the state law is at that same time?
It was, for me, it was pretty easy. I was able to, apply concepts. So when we learned something different that was specific to the military, I had a concept in my mind already that I could relate it back to.
Okay. Now, you got my interest piqued. Now, you said back in the day, it used to be called legal specialist. Now it's called paralegal. Why the change? Is it just the change in the name or a change in the duties and responsibility?
It's more of a change in our certifications and the credits, the accreditation for, so the JAG school, our AIT is actually accredited. So we earn more college credits and have greater abilities to join the paralegal associations that civilian paralegals are able to join. So it was more a change in the accreditation and, what our actual experience brought to the table.
Okay. Now, how much schooling did you have prior coming into the military? And then I know from reading your bio that you're still currently in school. Can you comment on, like, are you still on your I guess, school path for what you want to do after?
Yes, I am. So I was in college. I think I went for just over a year. My major was criminal justice. It took me a while to get back into it. So I actually finished my associate's degree in criminal justice while I was deployed to Iraq. Yes. Just a lot of moving around, family life. I decided it was better for me to not try to do so many things at one time. And so now, things are a little less hectic for me, believe it or not. And I have an opportunity to focus and finish these last 6 classes to finish my bachelor's degree also in criminal justice.
Yay! Congratulations. That is huge.
Thank you.
You're a full-time soldier, you're a full-time mom, you're going to school, you're ahead of your department. I mean, it's stressful. It really is. But you're just telling me that you worked 4 jobs and you're going to school or trying to finish school?
Yes.
That's crazy, Mass Sergeant. 4 jobs?
I did not want student loans.
Okay, well, great thing about the Army is you have the Montgomery GI Bill, you have the post 9/11 bill, and then you get tuition assistance on top of everything while you're in. So
Yes.
I'm glad you're getting that for your school and you only have to do 1 job in the military. Well, I guess you count mom as a second job. That's a job too. So now going through training, any hurdles that you had issues with doing the job from getting taught from the schoolhouse?
No, not really.
So have you been able to do every function or every realm within paralegal?
I think I have. I have worked in the legal assistance office, which is more of a, if you want to equate it to civilians, more like a family practice. So we do wills, we do powers of attorney. The attorneys, they in very limited situations can assist in, divorce proceedings, just general military law that is not criminal in nature. I've worked in the trial defense office, so any soldier that, is accused of any wrongdoing or criminal activity, there are lawyers that defend those soldiers. I've been a defense paralegal. I have been just the brigade military justice paralegal, the paralegal down at the brigade that's advising the commanders and processing the actions. And, in the last few years, as I have been promoted and have more rank and more responsibility, I am now more of a head paralegal, so to speak, where it's more so of office management, making sure the soldiers, are in their right jobs, that they have training to do their right jobs, making sure we have enough paralegals on the installation to do all the jobs that are needed to do. So now I'm more of a office manager type paralegal.
Hey, you're in a spot for a reason. So all of your experience led you to where you're at because obviously you're highly skilled in your job. So what great person to be a mentor that has that experience. So you know what? Somebody brought up a question. It's not a live question, but it is a question that got text to me.
Mhm.
Now, all of our legal, I guess, issues, our legal responsibilities, or if we have to come in with a question, it's free for the soldier, right? There's
Yes,
no.
absolutely.
So if I had to get advice, or if I had to go through a divorce, or if I had to go for a hearing, what are the steps to get that done?
So you would contact our legal assistance section, and we would go through a question and answer, just to see what services you actually need, what you needed from us, and then you would have an appointment to speak with an attorney. There are some things that military attorneys cannot assist you with, so they would either assist you with the things that they can, or they would refer you out to the civilian sector to finalize everything else. It's one thing that they cannot do is represent soldiers in civilian proceedings.
Ah, okay. So if the soldier had a DUI or had a negative action on base, that would be held within the military courthouse through military lawyers. But if that
Yes.
soldier got a DUI off base, and he or she would have to go through a civilian attorney to represent them because it's
Yes.
held out. Okay, so makes sense. So if you guys get in trouble, make sure you stay on base. So it's free. Don't get in trouble, okay, you guys? Don't get in trouble.
Yes, don't get in trouble.
All right. So I have a question from earlier on this week when we were promoting your segment. So let me find it. What are some misconceptions of your job as a paralegal?
Oh, there's a lot. Some of the misconceptions that we do the same things that lawyers do. In some respects, yes, but we cannot actually represent you in a proceeding. Some military misconceptions is that we don't do anything. We're obsolete. From the other jobs or MOSs in the Army, they kind of, because we are kind of isolated from everybody else in a way, there are certain things that we don't do. There are reasons for that, but they make assumptions on, oh, well, they're not real soldiers. They hide from the duties, and they shouldn't, have the same titles as we have because, they're paralegals. They don't do real soldier stuff. So we absolutely do real soldier stuff. We go to the field, we conduct physical training, we
Yep.
deploy,
Yep.
and we do not represent you in court.
Yep. Yep. So, working at brigade, which is like 4 echelons, you have company, battalion, platoon, company, battalion, brigade. And I see how hard those soldiers work. And, just because you don't see them out in the motor pool working on vehicles, or, they're digesting, law books that are like that thick and trying to help that soldier get out of whatever negative or stigma. Maybe they want to adopt a child, or maybe they want to buy a car, maybe they want to get a will. They have to go through, mounds and mounds of tombs, not books, tombs, to get the information that, you need to make sure that your life is running smoothly. So whoever thinks that, shame on you guys. So Fort Hood, Texas just loves you. Out of all the duty stations you've been to, which one is your favorite or favorite position? And what anything that unique that you've done in your career?
I would have to say my favorite duty station absolutely was Germany. It was very
Every,
beautiful there. There was lots of opportunity to travel and see different parts of Europe, and I absolutely love the food, by the way.
oh, night and day. It's, Europe is just extraordinary. And you got to go for free on the Army's dollar. Did you have kids at that time?
uh, I had custody of two of my siblings at that time, so they were teenagers at the time.
Oh man, I hope they got a little bit engulfed into the country, trying to learn some of the language, eat all that delicious food, learn the customs and courtesies. I mean, it's just for everybody, it's awesome getting moved around. Some places you might not like. Kuwait, probably hands down for me, one of the worst places to be because it's so hot. But I would do Kuwait over Fort Drum, New York, hands down. I would do that. But I mean, the experiences that you get to achieve and do is extraordinary, and you don't have to pay for it. The Army, sends you with you all your belongings and your family, and you don't have to worry about it. So it's great. Any cool duty stations that you actually got to do something unique within your job?
So yes, actually, my second time being stationed at Fort Bliss, El Paso, Texas, when our unit deployed to Iraq, I got to be the foreign claims pay agent. So there's a lot of accidents, things that happen, power lines, things of that nature, that, our vehicles are just really big vehicles and their power lines are really low, things like that. I got to go out and kind of survey a little bit, go out and pay the claims, make, some peacekeeping with the locals. I also got to interact with some of the local Iraqi police and judges, went through a counterfeiting class with them to help them, identify counterfeit currency and things of that nature. And we shared some, information on how the US military does military justice versus how they did it. So that was probably the most unique experience that I've had.
Every time I leave the US, I am so humbled and grateful for all the things I have, especially when I'm deployed to any Afghanistan, Iraq, even Kuwait. I'm still just glad I have a toilet inside of the house or in my office. Just small things just make your day, and you kind of get you don't think about it until it's taken away. I think that's just an extraordinary thing that you get to experience when you're interacting with another culture. And I'm always thinking about, well, you guys have been around for a pretty long time. What was a turning point for them to not get the same experience that we do in America? So, it's one of those things that, I like to think about. So their law is just way different than ours. I don't want to speculate. Also, you probably did one of the claims that I did. So I learned how to drive a stick shift in Afghanistan, and I relearned in Iraq. So some of those Mercedes trucks probably have a transmission blown here or there. So sorry about that, Master.
It's fine.
Okay, so I mean, you got Bliss, Washington, South Korea, Hood, Bliss, and then now you're at another hot, sunny place. South Korea, how was that? I got stationed down there for my first duty station.
I actually really enjoyed it. It was my first position as a paralegal coming off of recruiting duty. So it was quite interesting being in charge of, the brigade military justice office, having been out of the job for 3 years. So I really had to humble myself. And, I just had to tell my soldiers, look, just because I'm the Sergeant First Class and I'm in charge doesn't mean that I know everything. There's some things that have changed that I haven't had access in the last 3 years. I really need you all to, teach me. I'm still going to lead you and mentor you. But as far as the current systems and practices, I need y'all to help me out. And I felt that having that transparency and being honest with them made a world of difference.
No, that's great. And yeah, I mean, you can't be Superman or Superwoman, come in there and be like, rah, rah, rah. They're human beings. They look up to you as a mentor. And then, you need to be that SME when you're in that position, but it doesn't mean that we're not subject to fault. So that's great that you can humble yourself, because it shows that you're still growing as a person, and you make yourself so much approachable for those younger people. And there's people out there that look outside when you're and they hear the chitter chatter, and they're like, oh, that's a great individual, that's a great NCO, or hey, you know what, that NCO is probably won't help me out, so I'm gonna not even bring up my issue. So that's great that you have that relationship with your soldiers. It's super important. They're your they're the fuel in your engine that makes it go. So I have another question. You guys, this is a live interview. Master, you need to, give me some questions to ask her. I see you on Facebook. I see you. If you're on YouTube, sorry, I can't see your questions. But if you're on Facebook, drop them down, you guys. Come on. But that's okay, because I got a lot of questions for you that we were advertising earlier on, Master Sergeant. So cut it out. What does your job change from each position you've held, and can you give some examples? Now, I want a caveat on that. Okay, I want to know what it is like to work from being a private to a sergeant to a senior non-commissioned officer to the different positions within the unit that you've held. I know that's a lot.
Okay, I think I can follow along. So being a private, you really don't know anything. You're still in that mind frame of kind of keep your head down, do what you're told. You ask questions, but you still want to know, be proficient in your job, because what they teach you in your advanced training is just the tip of the iceberg as far as what you'll actually be doing. So it was a lot of learning. It was a lot of to not only be a paralegal, but learning how to be a soldier, and being able to handle both aspects of, what you are now. Going to your NCOs and asking questions and saying, hey, I did the research on this, but I don't understand, and learning that, there's more regulations and more things to research other than legal information. We have to cross-reference everybody else's regulations in the Army, to find the right answer. Transitioning from that to being a junior NCO, now, you're the one that's being that the junior soldiers are coming to and asking the questions and, telling you that, hey, like, my light bulb hasn't worked in my barracks for the last month and nobody's done anything about it. Or, finding out that, learning how to handle the soldier aspect of the soldiers coming to you and telling you that, they have family problems. They need to go on emergency leave. They need to go, take care of personal business. They're getting married. So now they need to leave, move out of the barracks. But figuring out those things, figuring out how to be a leader, and finding what your leadership style is, because you pick up things from every leader that you have, but you still have to figure out how that meshes with you, who you are and your personality. So being an NCO is, taking those things that you've learned and now passing it on to others and learning where you fit as an NCO, where you fit, what your leadership style is and what your leadership philosophy is, and how you can incorporate all these different personalities and pieces of other people into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And transitioning to being a senior NCO, it's more of the same, but you also get more interaction with, the mentorship of our junior officers, of our brand new attorneys that, are brand new to the Army, and they're still learning how to soldier. So as a senior NCO, you have a huge part in also mentoring your new attorneys and your new officers, and giving them your wisdom on things, because
they're new to the Army. They're new to, military law. So now they kind of rely on you to be the voice of reason, or to say, you know what, hey, like, I need help with this. What are the paralegals supposed to be doing? What interactions am I supposed to be having with the unit and the command team? So it's a lot more mentorship responsibilities. You have just like a broader spectrum of people that are coming to you and asking you for your guidance and your wisdom and your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, because you've been around the block, you've seen some stuff, so I don't want to make the same mistakes. I got to learn from the best. So now, as a person, as a young soldier and maybe a junior NCO, could you guys be in the same position for jobs? Or do I have to work my way up the ladder to get some of those primo jobs positionings? How does that work within the paralegal world?
Let me see how to answer this question best. So, in a brigade, excuse me, you have junior soldiers, you have, junior NCOs, and you have your senior NCOs. So basically the junior NCOs and the paralegals, they're kind of doing the same thing. They're processing actions, they're interacting with their commanders. They're getting what we call the bread and butter of being a paralegal, which is, criminal justice. There are other positions, and it largely depends on the size of your installation, of the Army base that you're at, and your maturity. There have been, I would say, for our legal assistance office, for an example, it's preferred to have someone with some sort of maturity and experience in our legal assistance office, because sometimes you're the only enlisted soldier in that sees, and so you have to know what you can and can't say. You have to be careful of, not inadvertently practicing law. You need to know how to be tactful. So yes, normally in our legal assistance office, we prefer an NCO. However, there are some junior soldiers, some PFCs, and some specialists that are getting after it. They're mature, they're reliable, they're knowledgeable, and they can absolutely handle it. So I would say the two biggest things to keep in mind, as far as, what jobs you perform and what rank you have to be to perform those jobs, are your knowledge and your maturity, and then the size of the installation and what, where we need you at.
Mm-hmm. And then that would be based on the recommendation of your senior NCO and
Yes.
how well you hold yourself, be a go-getter and ask, be like, hey, look, I want to try my, position here. I think I'm mature enough. I think I'm smart enough to handle it. Hey, Master Sergeant, can you check your microphone real quick, or your camera? You're kind of coming in kind of echoey. I don't know if you guys, my viewers, could heard what I heard, but it sounded like you're in a spaceship.
Is that a little better?
I'll work with it.
Okay.
Sound better right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to wind down to the last, I want to say 10 minutes left of our segment. Come on, you guys. I see you out there. Ask me some great questions. Ask Master. She's, a SME, subject matter expert in her job. Now, let me ask you some personal questions, Master.
Okay.
Ooh, that sounded really good. I wonder what happened there. So I know you said that you wanted a better life for you, but was that the only decision why you wanted to become a soldier? Is just a better quality of life?
To be honest, yes.
And how do you think the
it was
military?
kind of hard working 4 jobs so I wouldn't have student loan payments. So it was a lot of stress. It was a lot of hours. It was very little sleep.
I love sleep. I don't know if I could do it. And then and you think the military has helped you to be successful and get you where you wanted to be in life?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And then if you didn't have the military, the Army in your life, would you think that you would still be holding down 4 jobs, still trying to squeak through this job, or would you given up on your dream and picked a different job that didn't cost as much? Where would you see
I'm
yourself?
pretty persistent. So I think I would have convinced somebody to hire me on as a paralegal.
Oh man, I love that attitude, man. Your soldiers are lucky to have you because you're a go-getter type of person. You're resilient. You make the sacrifice. Speaking of sacrifices, how much family time do you have to spend with your boys?
Right now, a lot.
That's great.
I'm normally home by about 6:30. They probably get as much of me as they want. There most weekends, it's very rare that we work weekends. Federal holidays we have off. There's, plenty of time in the day to interact with them, to be with
Mhm.
them, to, still be a mom. I will
I'll be,
say that, oh, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No. And I am very fortunate in that respect because there are some installations where the workload is a lot heavier. If you have court cases, if you have a judge and they're sitting on trial, if you're the paralegal assigned to that case, then you will have to work some later hours, but most of your leadership, we recognize that, and we will make sure that you get some time off, because we put in some pretty hard hours sometimes, but right
Now,
now it's pretty easy.
that's great. I mean, that's great to hear because I hear both. I hear that I have barely time to breathe, and then I hear stuff like this, and that sounds great because again, it depends on the job and what you're doing in that point in time. You could be getting ready for a deployment. You could be coming back from deployment. It could be the holidays. It could just be the unit that you're in. Was your kids into sports? Were you able to take your kids to activities? How much time did you have throughout your career with your kids growing up?
A lot. My middle son is the athlete, the musician, the Boy Scout. So I went to scouting meetings with him. I went to, all of his Boy Scout, Cub Scout parades. When he was in wrestling, I wasn't at all of the practices, but I was definitely at all of his wrestling matches. Like 2 years ago, he decided he was playing the saxophone, so I was at all of his concerts. Last year, he did theater, so I was at all of his plays. Again, sometimes you can't make all the practices, but the
Yep.
big things I was able to be there for.
That's awesome. So, I mean, come on, viewers. The Army is paying for her school. The Army got her an incredible job that she wanted. The Army moved her to all these, phenomenal places. I don't know if Fort Bliss is phenomenal. It might be because I love Texas Roadhouse and I know they have one there. So I would say it could be phenomenal. And then it gives you time to watch your kids grow up. I was asking you earlier if they're going to school on base or off base, and we were discussing about that. So the Army really does look out for your family, not only you but your family. So that's what other industry does that for the family or the individual? It's just tell me, viewers, tell me which one, so I could go work for them too when I'm done. So, you're 22 years in, you're finishing up, you're getting ready to finish up your bachelor's degree. Have you used anything else that the Army said that they would give you, like the VA home loan or the small business loan? I'm assuming you're saving your GI Bill for your kids to go to school.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I have already distributed my GI Bill amongst my children, so they each get 12 hours. I plan to use my VA home loan to purchase my forever home, probably in Texas.
Oh no.
Oh, maybe not El Paso, but probably Texas. I have not used the small business loan. That's something that, I have to consider in the future for when I decide, I don't want to be a paralegal anymore, if I do and still want to go into business for myself.
Okay. Now you're getting ready for retirement, or are you planning on staying? I mean, you're at that point where you could do a couple more years and get pinned on that sergeant major, or you kind of, I mean, it's there. I'm just saying, you'll be an incredible sergeant major.
Well, thank you.
But what do you think? Do you think you would stay if it was offered, or you got selected, or would you say, hey, look, I've devoted a lot of time. It's time to, do something different.
I don't know yet. Right now, I'm kind of going in 2-year increments, so we'll see what happens.
That's smart. That's smart. Don't put all your eggs in a basket. So that's great. Let's see what else I got. Let me transfer. We have a little bit more time left. My viewers, you're disappointing me. I see you on there watching. We got quite a few people watching. They're just scared to
I'm
ask you
asking questions. I'm not that scary.
They're afraid that you're going to put them in jail.
No.
So these are questions I have earlier in the week. Just let our viewers know and yourself know, Master.
Okay.
What is it about the job that draws you to it? What's so interesting about paperwork and research?
I love it. I love learning new things. I love, being able to share the new things that I learned with my soldiers. I love interacting with the soldiers and the attorneys, being able to, just help soldiers decide if, this was the right career choice for them and if they want to stay and do it or not. I've really enjoyed every day these last 22 years. Maybe not every day. There's
some days you're like, oh man.
There's some days that, a few years ago I would still wake up and say, what have I done? But some days you're tired, some days you just don't want to, but I find it very rewarding that, even when I don't think that I want to do it, that there's somebody that I can help, somebody that I can influence, somebody that I can assist, and something else that I can learn.
Mm-hmm. All right, now this is for your mentoring side, so put on that hat.
Okay.
Let's see, where was it? What advice would you give to either a civilian coming in and or a young private that's currently in, or a lieutenant looking into this type of job? Obviously, they're going to be a lawyer, but in this atmosphere, what's some advice that would you give them to excel or to prep for?
I would absolutely say you would have to enjoy, the small details of things. There's the big picture, and then there's the details, and then there's the fine print details. You have to truly enjoy, getting down to that fine print and those small details, because it can absolutely make a difference in the decisions that are made. As far as, your choices, I know a lot of people, they want a duty station close to home, or they want to go a certain place a lot, who doesn't want to go to Hawaii, right?
Right?
But, sometimes the best experiences come out of not getting the duty station that you want. You go somewhere completely different of what you thought you wanted, and it's the best opportunity for you. You have the best leaders, the best peers. You learn things. You get to know somebody new. You get to meet somebody that you never would have met before, or you may even get to meet someone from your hometown that you never met before, and just the experiences there at that duty station. It don't always take people's word for what a duty station is either. If someone tells you, oh, it's a bad duty station, it's a horrible location, you don't want to go there. Go and have your own experiences and make up your own mind of how it is.
I have to agree with you 100%. I have met the greatest people at the worst duty station. And you know what? It's not that bad. 100%. And then you grow from those positions that, you never thought that you could do. So that's excellent advice. And if you guys have any more questions or want some guidance, Mass Sergeant, we have an open line with Mass Sergeant here. If we can't answer it, or if you want to hear from her mouth, the NCO, the backbone of, paralegal down at Fort Irwin, California at the National Training Center. I mean, she's there to help soldiers, there to help people. Now, if you're a civilian looking for some legal advice, you got to join. Sorry, we draw the line right there. Got to join. I'll put you in boots, but you got to join to get that legal advice. But what you guys were drawing down, I think we have time for my last question. Okay. Okay, I lied. I have two more, but this will be real quick. Why haven't you gone to the dark side? If you love this job, why not become a lawyer yet?
That's a good question. I love being a soldier leader. I love leading soldiers, As much as I enjoy the research and the courtroom time, I enjoy my time molding soldiers and helping soldiers. For lack of a better way to say it, I love being an NCO.
Good answer. Good answer. Oh man, somebody who loves the Corps, the NCO Corps. That's great. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, Officer Corps. You guys can't have her. She belongs to us. All right, and this is our last question because we ran out of time. Is what do you see yourself doing when you retire?
Honestly, probably working as a civilian paralegal in a military JAG office.
I mean, why not? You set yourself up for success. We would hate to lose you because, you have just more to offer that experience. So that's great. So ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our Soldier of the Hour. Master Sergeant, before we log off, I'm going to give you the floor. So if you want to do any shout outs, if you want to say something that's been on your mind, the platform is yours.
I want to thank Sergeant Anderson for spending this last hour with me. I want to thank First Sergeant Ernst for recommending me. Miss you, buddy. For anybody out there that's thinking about joining the Army, if you're thinking about it, just do it. You don't want to have the regret of, well, maybe I should have, maybe I could have, and now, something happens and you can't, or your life has changed. If you're thinking about it, just go ahead and do it. And if you want to be a paralegal, we have a wonderful life. We really do. There are hard hours, long hours, but it is so rewarding and so enjoyable, especially if you like helping people and you like, research and interacting with people of different ranks and different backgrounds. Please call your local Army recruiter and have that conversation, have the interview, and see if it is right for you.
Yes, thank you. And before you retire, see what, because this is a new assignment for you. So it looked like you just started. So I'm curious to see how far you've grown from our first contact. I would like to thank Fort Irwin, the National Training Center, for allowing you to step an hour out of your busy schedule. And I really would like to thank your boys because, again, this is probably pushing you back another hour of work.
Thank you.
to take away their mom time because, that is a full-time job. So I appreciate your sacrifice. And then again, if I have any other questions that populate, I'm going to shoot them your way. But,
okay.
Yeah, if you hold on with me, I'm going to say my ending intro, and then me and you will have our after action review, our AAR, you guys.
All right.
Military lingo right there. All right. So like always, you guys, I always say this because I believe in it, and any NCO say this is the foundation of a private coming into the Army, because that's what you guys are going to be. You guys, if you're looking into the military, if you follow these 3 simple steps, you will be successful and you will grow into a awesome leader. So I want to lead you, be in the right place. If you could get those 3 concepts down, those 3 things, you will be an outstanding soldier to start off your career. And like always, you guys be safe and tune in next Tuesday for the next segment of the Soldier of the Hour. We're going to talk to another person for an hour and see what kind of incredible career that individual had. Like always, hit us up, like us. If you're rewatching, put down #rewatch, leave a comment below, and we will get back to you. Thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful, safe week. Bye.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.